Nicole O'Neill once said, "When you find the courage to use your voice, it has the power to positively inspire and change the lives of others. It is one of the special gifts you have to offer the world. It is something to be cherished and championed, never hidden." And that is why we are here on Your Voice, Your Impact. I am the energetic EJ. I am a life and transformational coach, and I work with women aged 40 and above to turn their abandoned dreams into achievable goals by activating their voice for impact. I'm also a podcaster and an event host. On this show with me is
Great, so amazing. The goal of this show is to help people use their voices to create impact. I am a physicist and a life coach. What I do for my clients is I help them build systems to achieve their goals whilst having fun doing it. On this show, we discuss topical issues that can inspire you to move. Like, subscribe, and share. Welcome aboard.
all right. Yes. Welcome on board. Welcome to another episode on Your Voice, Your Impact. This is the energetic EJ, and it's such a pleasure to be here again this week on the show. I hope that your weekend was great and your week is off to a great start as well. So wherever you're connecting from or watching from, whether you're on LinkedIn, on Instagram, or on YouTube, please say hi in the comment section. Join us in the conversation and be a part of the conversation. Today, we are having a very, very interesting one, just like we're talking behind the scene just before we came live. I was sharing with our guests, like, this is the elephant in the room, right? But we are happy to what's the word now? We're happy to talk about it. And so we're looking forward to a very engaging conversation. So please feel free to join us in this conversation. Share your thoughts in the comment section to create, more engagement around this. And if you can, also please share this link to somebody who should be a part of the conversation. Welcome again. Today is our final session in the Love Month series. Of course, February is here. We've celebrated all the reds. Some reds are still popping around, and that's okay. So as we wrap up this session, we wanted to go into the topic to talk about beyond the breakup. How do you love yourself after divorce? I mean, there are the people who are the single and pringle. There are the people who are single and searching. There are people who are lovey-dovey, newly wedded couples. There are people who are like OGs. They've been in this game for a long time and they've had a great time. But who's talking about those who are not even sure where they stand? They're still going through the pain. They're still going through the healing process of divorce. All right. So this is where our conversation will be driving us today. Let me bring on Gracie. Let's do a quick intro for the week. Let's quick check in for the weekend. And then we'll go into the conversation. Hello, Gracie. How are you today?
I'm amazing. I'm
As
just
always, as
basking in
always.
my lady in red. How
As
can
always, I can see that you're still basking in the euphoria of the love.
how
Come
can
to your
Valentine come
feelings.
and go and we will not I used to mock, on Valentine's Day, people wear red up and down. Like, what's going on here? Even shops, you see red, and then it's a beautiful color. I love the color of red, and I'm happy that I'm here today. How are you doing?
I am well now. I praise God. I've been down since Wednesday. I got hit by a fever. It's just a combination of stuff, right? Because fever, flu, bobotibo. So I was down from Wednesday evening up until I was on bed all through till Sunday. It was yesterday morning. I'm like, you know what? I have to stand up from here. I cannot afford to be down for this long. But I allowed myself the whole 3 days to go through the process. Got on medication and got better. So I'm grateful that I'm well and looking great today. So praise God.
Thank God. My weekend was great. The weekend just flew, you know. I rested on Saturday. I think, I've created that system where one day in a week, I must take the full day to rest. Is either Saturday or
Mm,
Sunday. So for me,
mm,
Saturday was self-care. It was boring at some point, but I was happy. We're learning to just be bored.
yeah.
Let's be bored. So I was bored, but I was resting. And
Mm,
I would say that was the highlight for me. I woke up fully charged on Sunday morning, fully charged on Monday morning. It showed that yes, that Saturday was good for me, and I'm happy to be
amazing.
here.
Amazing. I love it. I love it. Okay, I see Leon. Leon says she missed last week's session. Hey, you missed a lot. You should go and catch the replay. Last week's session was so deep. It got my head spinning on its own. It was so deep. It was so deep talking about, how to date yourself, part two. But a different dimension to it. We had a male bring in his own perspective, and he just took us to a place we didn't know we knew until he took us there. And it was fantastic. So please do catch the replay
You know,
on our YouTube
you know
channel.
what I found funny? At some point, you say, "Dibola to Jazzy," I couldn't control my laughter. I was laughing.
Oh my, yeah, that conversation was deep. I'm like, whoa, but everything you said made sense because I thought about it even after the session, and I'm like, that is so true, and if we
Funny
all
today.
think about marriage like that, if we all have that insight, before even going or thinking about the concept of marriage, it helps us to prepare. Like you prepare differently, and if you prepare differently, the both parties prepare differently, it changes the game really. So that was such a good conversation. And if you missed it last week, please do catch the replay. All right, so today, diving right into it, because our guest today, we just want to say a shout out to our guest today, Dr. Ebulomo Fawole. She is amazing for just being here today. She has every reason to say, "Oh, sorry, I cannot be here," but she made it anyway. Like this is when you see, and this is when you recognize the heart of somebody who is passionate about what they do, right? And she is a divorce recovery coach, amongst many other things that she does. If you want to read about her bio, please look at the details of this particular video. You see a bio there, just a summary of what she's into. But today you're going to hear a little bit more about her and what she does, and how she truly supports the community. All right, so I'm happy and delighted to bring on this virtual stage of Your Voice, Your Impact today, Dr. Ebon. Ebelomo, but let's call her Ebon. Fawole.
Woo, 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 woo,
Hey,
woo,
hey,
woo.
hey, 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 hey.
Hi,
Hello, how are you?
hello, the energetic EJ.
One and only, one and only.
Yeah, hello, how are you, Grace? Thank you for having me. And hello, everyone, wherever you're joining us from. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. We are grateful. We're grateful for your presence here, and we thank you for your time and your contribution, of course, to the conversation today. Before we get into the conversation, I want you to just give us a little bit of yourself. Just tell us a little bit of your story to how you got to this recovery thingy. Especially that part. We're very interested in that part, right? Like what, why? Please go for it.
All right. Thank you very much once again for having me. So, like she said, I have a PhD in guidance and counseling and certifications in other mindset makeover programs. This is because I got separated and divorced 13 years ago. I think I was just 33 or 34 or thereabout. And so you can imagine, still very young, right? It was just about few years into our marriage, and I have a daughter. As then she was 17. Now she's 20. She was 7 years old.
Wow.
Sorry. Then she was 7 years old.
Mhm.
Now she's 20. And when I was leaving, one major thing that gave me issues was looking at every divorced women around me And I'm like, is my life going to be like this woman? All these women, how they look. Angry, bitter looking women around me. They are not happy. I didn't even have any mentor. I didn't have anybody to go and meet. The social media is not as it is today that you can go there and read about divorce or get a mentor. But when I was leaving, I just told myself, my life will not be like this other women I'm seeing around. And I want to redefine divorce. I want to redefine it because I know myself that I have a lot to offer. I know I am not a failure. What happened just happened. The marriage just could not work. And that should not mean I should mortgage my destiny or just live my life like that. So I told myself, no, I'm not going to do that. It wasn't easy, right? It wasn't an easy decision. A lot of people around me thought I was crazy. And I was a church girl, even the church that joined us, they did not, there's
Oh no. Is that just me?
No, no,
Is it
no, no.
just
I
me or
think
did she freeze?
it's from her end. I think
Okay.
it's from her end.
Okay. Oh,
I'm
network, please don't
hoping
do
we'll
this to
just wait.
us.
We will wait for her to come
I
in. I
know
mean,
because
and why I'm very, very particular and interested in this
Can you hear
conversation because
me? I think I'm
yes, we
back.
can
okay,
hear you
we
now.
can hear you
You're
now.
frozen,
We
but
can
we
hear you
can hear you
now.
now.
Yeah, your image is still frozen, but we can hear you. Can you speak? No, she's gone again. Please go ahead, Gracie.
I mean, what we do here, even if we do say it ourselves, the unconventional conversations. I can't remember. I know, people talk a lot about these things, but where we are coming from and what we are coming with, what I can see from from how she's starting already, I can tell that we're going to touch key things that would address a lot of some of the things that we see in today's world. So while we're waiting for her to come, she was talking about how, the people she's seeing around her, I mean, that she was seeing around her back then were looking bitter. And, it reminds me of some videos you'd see where they'll say, go back to your ex or dance or dance. And you see them dancing so vigorously, I be so rigorously, I don't know. So it's just a way of saying that I'm never going to be happy with that person or things in that regard, that level of bitterness and anger. Anyways, I'm looking forward to learning
To
from
having
her.
her
Okay, she's back.
continue. Absolutely, she's back. We are happy to have you back. Please go
Thank
ahead with
you.
your thoughts.
Thank you very much. Sorry, the internet hitch. Okay, so that was the mindset to say no. I probably am going to be the one to redefine this thing called divorce. The church was not. They don't even have a program. They have for singles, they have for widows, they have for men, they have for children, and all that. They see you as a castaway, kind of a thing. You've made the big
Outcast.
mistake of your
Yes.
life. You lost your mind. Oh,
Yes.
you are a failure. All that. So
Mm.
I was determined. I'm saying this now to say that whatever we are going through as an individual, there is a you that is inside you. And so we should not allow the situation to define who we are. I didn't understand it this way when I was in it.
Yeah.
But over time, I just saw, I think then I just saw it as, oh, people say, oh, you're stubborn. We always give label. We always give a name to things. So, but I knew that something was telling me this is not where you belong. Because this has happened does not mean you should stay down there.
Right.
And because I had
Right.
no mentor, nobody to look up to around me that sees things in my own perspective, I had to work it out. It's just like they say, work your salvation out with all diligence. And
Yeah,
that
and
was what I
trembling, my
did.
sister.
And that was what I did. So I started looking, it started with healing. You need to get healed. And, so I started looking for healing. That was when I met Bankole Williams and Innocent Usa. I went for Innocent Usa's
NLP.
meeting. He did the therapy. As Innocent Usa started the therapy with me. Then Bankole did the mindset thing with me, the coaching, the training and all. And it just clicked to say, yes. Then I live in Kwara State. These guys were in Lagos. So you can imagine how it wasn't that I wasn't working when I left my marriage. So I had to, and this also confirms when there's a will, there is a way.
Right.
So
wow, thank you.
I know, I'm sure you know Usa, you know Bankole. It's not easy.
Right.
The fee is not so easy. So what I did with them is, please let me serve you. I will serve you. I will exchange my service with the pay. Right? They saw the passion. They saw, because that's also what they teach. They saw the readiness. And so they took me in. And that was how I started the journey.
Wow.
That was how I started the journey. And people will look at me and they're like, this girl is crazy. But as at the time, by the time I started understanding the power within, you know how they say live your life from inside out and not outside in. Because your power resonates inside. Your power is inside. So, and this is what I tell people when I work with people that are divorced, So when I start working on myself, I started meeting people, I started hearing things, then the journey of transformation started for me. Then I saw the need, when I said it at the beginning, I said I was going to redefine. So if I'm going to redefine, then I need to help people understand. So I said, okay, let's hire more people, let's help more people. And that is how I started the divorce recovery thing. To say, if I have more people understand this journey, to say divorce is not the end of your life. Divorce is another opportunity to live life again at your own terms, not in anybody's decision or opinion or anything. Because by the time you go through the healing and forgiveness journey, you start seeing things in another light. You start seeing things in another perspective. And you know what it is, that when your perspective about a situation changes, the situation itself will change.
Yeah.
So right now, I don't see myself as a divorced person. I see myself transitioning in between marriages. I stopped using labels.
Okay.
We don't allow people define us. So in the community, what I tell people is, do you want to take yourself back? So when I do the therapy, because I do the healing therapy for people in the community or my clients. So when I'm taking people through the journey, I take them back to when they were children. Because whoever you are now is as a result of your conditioning from your upbringing, significant emotional experience, and your environment. So I take them back. Do you want to go back to who you were as a child? What were your hopes, aspiration, ambition? You know how we grew up. We want to become a doctor. I want to become this. Are you now saying that divorce comes and cancel all that? No, it's still there. It's your dream. It's your dream. The divorce should not define you and just box you up. And this is not only for the divorced people alone, even for married. You're married and you just forget who you are. No, the who you are is inside you. And so you need to let it find expression. So I think that's what my life is all about. My calling, finding expression and helping people to get healing on their journey. So you take yourself back. Where is that lady? Where's that girl? Where's that guy that was in primary school that wants to take first position, that was in secondary school, that was competing for the honor roll in the university? You want to have a first class or second class upper, where is that person? Are we saying that this divorce, that's the marriage, It's going to
Going to
cancel all the
shatter all of
other
that or
areas
shut
of
that down.
life.
Hmm.
It's
Wow,
impossible.
let's,
So
because I love how you jumped right into it and just like you're going for it, and I love it. It shows, it just establishes that you're passionate about this and you found your calling or your
yeah,
purpose. And so it's like, see, this is what I live for. This is what I'm about, and this is how I
yeah,
help people, find themselves because I have found myself. But permit me
yeah,
to take you back a little bit, right? Because one of the things is, as much as this is amazing what you've just said and how you are redefining divorce, right? Again, it's going to take a bit of work for some people to get to this point, to even accept, to accept this statement you just made,
yeah,
likely to say you are in between marriages.
yeah.
For somebody in their heads, like, what do you mean? Is marriage now a job that you are switching and transitioning in between? Do you get? So it's a lot of work, but you know the amount of work you've done for your mind to be in this place right now. So I'm going to take you back a little bit just for us to broach a little bit the cause, because as you are on the other side, right? If you could, I believe, I'm not assuming, I believe, but correct me if I'm wrong, that if you can, you would love to let somebody who is on the other side say, don't do that, so that you don't come here. There is healing for you if you eventually find yourself here, but I would rather that you don't get here. Do you get what I mean? So, because of those people, let's
Yeah.
just quickly touch on this, go back and say, I mean, divorce is rising, is a phenomenon. It's something that we used to watch on TV, especially as Africans. What these
Mm.
Oyibo people say, we don't even, but now it's now becoming something that we can see, and it's almost like it's on the rise, right?
Yeah.
What from your own experience, what would you say is the most common underlying factor that leads to this place where you now need to find yourself again, find healing, and redefine who you are? So, what are some of the common underlying factors from your experience that affect marriages, that leads it to divorce?
Thank you, EJ. The underlying factor is loss of identity.
Hmm.
If you have lost who you are, you have unrealistic expectations. You depend
Right.
on your partner to be who they are not even able to be to themselves.
Hmm. Hmm.
Do you get? So, when
Right.
I was talking about healing and all that, healing is not for divorced people alone, right?
True.
I
True.
counsel, I do the premarital counseling too.
Hmm.
And in my premarital counseling journey with clients, I help them because we're all brought up, we're all raised with baggages.
Yeah.
We're all raised with baggages. So the guy is coming with his baggage, the lady is coming with her baggage. Forget about the paparazzi on the wedding day. We can hide a lot. We're hiding a lot behind our makeup and our beautiful dresses on our wedding day, right?
Right. Right.
And so, if these baggages are not addressed, if you don't talk about it, you will start bleeding on one another because you're coming with different hearts. And so, you will
Hmm.
be bleeding on one another. And oh, that's where the issue of you're pressing toothpaste from the bottom and pressing in the middle. Oh, my mother in law is this and all that. And you start creating issues out of little things. It's because we all have baggages we are carrying. So in my premarital and marital counseling or marital checkup, I do marital checkup for people. I
Hmm.
help you go down to the place that hurts, the things that hurt, and we talk about it. It can even be as little, we call it little, but it's a big deal because the heart, the soul is hurting. And that's why I said loss of
Right.
identity. You lose who you are as a child. You lost who you are as a child
Hmm.
because the people around you believe they have the right method of raising you. So they shut you down, you suffered rejection, you suffered pain, you were abused and all that. All this pain are bottled inside, and that's the baggage I'm talking about. You did not do well, you had a breakup in your relationship, the first relationship we were in did not end up in marriage and all that. Different things. And so we pick up different pains, and these are the baggages I'm talking about. And so you are
Mm.
in a relationship or you are in a marriage, the guy said something and you interpret it. The guy said A, you interpret it to be C, D, E, F, G, H because of where you are coming from, because of
You're
your
coming
past
from.
experience. So
Mm.
you
Mm.
interpret your interpretation, the beliefs you have. Oh, he's supposed to treat me this way, he's supposed to do this. Remember what I said when we started, that you were somebody before you met this person. You were
Mm.
that girl, that bright, intelligent, smart lady or guy in secondary school who entered the university to study economics, medicine, whatever you studied. And you had dreams, you had plans, you have your own values. And now you are going into a relationship with somebody whose value system is different, whose belief is different, who was raised in another environment, and you didn't sit down to talk about it.
Mm.
If you don't sit down to talk about all these things, it will come up, it will pop up on the journey, and that's where the conflict comes up. So
Comes.
if you have lost who you are, you don't understand, you have lost your identity along the line of growing up between your teenage to 25 or 26 or 30 that you're getting married. If you
Mm.
have lost who you are, you'll be expecting too much from the other person. And that's where the
Person.
demand will be coming in. And that person
Wow.
cannot give what he does not have. You can't give
Don't
what you don't
have.
have.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So these
Mm.
are the
Wow.
underlying factors. That's where
Factors
conflict comes in. That's where misunderstanding comes in. That's where misalignment comes in.
comes in.
The
Wow.
belief systems are different. So you
Hmm.
need to solve all this before you go into any relationship. Before you go into
Love it.
a
Love it.
girl
Let's
getting
let's
married and just to
let's
believe.
let's hold that thought, because I know we're
Okay.
going to go in that direction. And the way you're going already is like you're already giving us some healing gist right there. So we want to hold on that. I'm gonna read
Okay.
a comment from Instagram just to buttress what you're saying before we move on to the next before we go deeper, and Grace is going to drive the conversation going forward. So somebody on online on Instagram says, when you talk about losing your identity as one of the underlying factor, she says, I married young because I was raised a Christian and I had a child, so I had to marry because she got pregnant. And so I had to marry young to get society validation and that of my parents. I didn't know who I was or what I wanted, and I was unhappy. Thank you so much, Maletsi, all the way from South Africa. Thank you, sister, for sharing. I really do appreciate you. So yes, please, Gracie, we can continue the conversation. So thank you, yeah, yeah. Just to buttress what you were talking about, the identity, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. I mean, you see, today I've just been writing. I've been writing what I would ask you, and you don't want to get me started with the buckets of questions I have already. But I like how we're already going because you've answered some of the questions in between. Can you run us through the mindset? The first, when somebody goes through a divorce, there is the mindset that is formed after a divorce. Can you run us through some of the mindset that comes up from a divorce? You can throw in what the society brings in. What let's help us understand some of the mindsets formed after someone um you know um goes through a divorce.
A divorce. Majorly, what comes to mind is I have failed. I am a
Failure.
failure, right? Both for the lady and the man. The man's ego is wrapped around success. He should be
Mm,
in charge, in control of everything. And so when their marriage breaks, they feel like a failure. The lady also feels that level of failure, feels rejection, feels I'm not good enough, I'm not beautiful enough, you know, all this are the mindset. And this mindset for the lady, that's the reason why it is deep, because it's it says a lot. You know how they say the woman is the one that keeps the home. And so she wants to keep the home. She wants to be able to take care of everything. She wants to be, and so when that thing happens, she feels like a failure.
The home is on her head. That she should not let it follow. Don't let it follow.
Yes.
If you fall, now your fault. Now you cause
Now your fault. And you know what it is in Africa, how we treat people like this. You don't even want to talk to them. She could not keep her home. Can you look at her? She could not keep her home. She could not keep her man. In fact,
talking about husbands or married people, wanting to drag their, this one that, let's talk about that as well. Being ostracized from, the marriage. You already talked about that. The church would somehow ostracize. I want you to touch on that even more so that,
your friends don't want you to come to their house again.
Make you not come contaminate them with divorce.
Contaminate, or even you are looking at their husband somehow. You're too close. You're becoming too close to my husband. These are people you grew up. I experienced all this. I'm telling you what I went through.
Wow.
Do you get? People don't want you around their husbands. These are people you gist together, you travel together, you have fun together. Now they see that they don't want you around their husband. They're suspicious. You can't call their husband or send text message. This used to be your friend, but you can't do that anymore. Do you get? So it's a lot for the ladies and for the men. That failure thing, the man is supposed to be in charge of his home. Recently, I had a conversation, because I also have the men's locker room community exclusive for the men alone, divorced men alone. I have the divorced men locker room, and we're having the conversation.
Before you proceed, how is that going? Do they come up? Do they show up? Are they vulnerable?
I have about 32 men in that community.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Wow. Well done. Well done. Well done. It's not easy to drag men to speak. Wow.
Yes.
You have done well.
They come out to talk. We have the meeting, we were together in a group before, but I saw that they are not forthcoming. They don't talk. So I decided to separate the room. So and they came into the room. They want to be having meeting every week, if possible. Men hurt. Men also cry. Yes. I did an Instagram live. I think it was 2 Thursdays ago. I have one of those men on the show, on the Instagram live, so people can check. Yeah, Instagram live is there. The video, the recording is on my handle on Instagram 2 Thursdays ago, so people can go and watch it and hear what these men have to say. Men also cry. Men also hurt. They feel like a failure. They are pained when you don't allow them see their children. They are pained when they don't have access to their children. They just cover up with the boldness and all the braggadocio, but inside them they are hurting. They just don't want you to bruise their ego. That's when they make that bold and that braggadocio behavior. They hurt. They feel the pain too. So to your question, the mindset, it's a lot. So I tell people, let's acknowledge the pain. You're going through the pain of divorce. You go through it's just like you lose somebody, grieving
Grieving.
process. The
Yeah. Yeah.
trajectory of your life is changing.
Mm.
Except
Completely.
your intention, it's changing completely. And so
Mm.
you go through that hurting period, that grieving process.
Right.
You go through unforgiveness. You
Denial.
go through the fact that I'm not good enough.
Mm.
Oh, I'm the one people are talking about. You are walking on the street, you think everybody is looking at you. Guess what? You also have the emotions and the mind of your children to help to guide. You need to protect
Mm.
your children. You know, you are hurting, your children are hurting. The truth is, the children are part of the equation. A lot of people
Mm.
assume they'll be okay, but they are not okay. They are not. The children are part of the
Wow.
equation. And guess what? These children grow up with stigma. They call them names. You know, they see them as, oh, children from broken home. And that is
I
why
want
most
to
of them becomes bully in school.
school. Wow, that's
So
deep.
as
This children part. Ah,
it's a
gosh,
lot.
that's hard. It's a lot.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
it's a
The
lot.
children part. But before we
So the
move away from
parents,
here,
yeah,
just
so the parents need
sorry
to
that I'm cutting
heal.
you here. Sorry that I'm
What?
cutting you here. I just
All right.
because of yeah, because we are also, we also put out the words for engagement is to say, there are some thoughts that we don't want to move past if somebody is still trying to process it while we're having the conversation. And this one is going around what you said about the identity still. I think that's a big one, really. It's like you hit the
Yeah.
nail in the head when you said that's one of the major underlying factor. And I think a lot of people are resonating with it. So here is a thought that came in. He says, I am only 25 and I might not have really that much experience in this topic. But again, loss of identity is one of the biggest underlying issues that lead to divorce, and such cases as wonderfully elaborated by Dr. Ebo. Says, from where I sit, you only lose your identity when operating on an emotional realm other than a logical or data supported region. That said, is it safe to say relationship and marriage should purely be logic and data based decision and nothing to do with how we feel?
Okay, so the feeling is the secret. So
Grace, remember that book?
when we say emotional does not mean you should be stupid.
Hmm.
Because if we say logical, logic applies only to your conscious mind.
Hmm.
Logic applies only to your conscious mind, but you live your life from your unconscious mind.
And that is a realm of
95%
emotion.
of who we are and what we do is based on what we have in our unconscious mind, in our subconscious. So that is where healing comes in. Do you get? Such
Hmm.
that when your
Yeah.
emotion is playing trick on you, you are able to now bring it, process it, to say, okay, what's the feeling here? How am I feeling? Am I reasonable? Oh, I'm saying this person should love only me. I'm saying this person should not go out. I'm saying this person should. Do you get? But if you're able to reason and process it and heal from your the kind of attachment style you're struggling with, maybe you are the clingy one, you are the unsecure one, or you are the overly secure one. If you're able to get that, so majorly, because the issue, the pain, the damage that our upbringing has done to us is out of here. The damage, and that
Hmm.
damage is what we are operating from, which is in our subconscious. So, and until the conscious and the unconscious aligns. So if you're saying you want to live from the logic point or the database point, What is your emotion telling you? So there must be an alignment between the conscious and unconscious. And so that's where the logic comes in. You now analyze and process it. And that's what healing helps you to do, to say, okay, we read Mills and Bones, all this novels we read, and all
Novel.
this movie we watch. Are this really realistic?
Mm.
Can a man be all this to me? Okay, if this man is not all this to me, or if I want this man to be all this to me, what am I bringing to the table in terms of emotion? Okay, so if he's not able to give me all this, how should I handle it? And that's where the identity comes in, to say, who are you actually?
Mm.
Who are you? A lot of ladies just get so entangled. It's just so, they're so, I'm sorry to say this, we know the celebrity that their marriage just broke now. The lady, she's so, it's as if her life is wrapped around the guy and she does not have her own life. That kind of love is too toxic and it's
Mm.
not too good for her health. We all see what she's going through now, right? So who
Yeah,
are
no,
you really? Yeah.
yes.
Go for it,
I mean,
Grace.
okay, yeah. So, I mean, we can this is a topic talking about divorce, but it's a lot of things it's been unraveled, and I'm loving it, especially with what Leon asked. And I want to quickly, before you answer the question, I just want to quickly address, what he said. We talk a lot about logic, and I like that. We like to rationalize things. We like to, work on facts and everything, and then we forget that we have a heart that knows.
Mm.
So I can understand, because there's always this argument, men are logical, women are emotional, and then when you see a man angry and you're asking, where do you place anger? Or when you see a woman, talking, you want to, there is that forever argument. But that's on one hand. We can talk about that later in another topic. But the reason I said I should draw us back to get back to what Leon is saying is what you have addressed and what you're still addressing, which has got to do a lot with identity. And because you mentioned this celebrity and what is happening, you can almost touch it. You can almost touch some of the key indicators of divorces and how time is just like a ticking time bomb. You can
Chicken bomb.
manage and patch things
Mm.
until you get to your elastic limit. I just thought it would be nice to drop all of those things. What I want to ask you, and not even ask you, I mean, you're a doctor, you have read, you're gotten to the you're getting to the peak, or you've gotten to the peak when it comes to guidance and counseling. And for me,
Yeah.
that's major. When you want to talk to someone, I would love for you to talk to two women. Two, imagine you have a woman that is in that stage where she doesn't even know who she is. And then you're talking to another woman who her identity has been crushed from a missing to now who am I now? I used to be a Mrs. Lagbaja, Mrs. Lagbaja, and now all of a sudden you're like, where am I? Who am I? I'm now a Miss, but
You're now
I used
missing.
to be a Mrs. There's an identity crisis around that axis. So I need
Yeah.
to speak to a
Yeah.
woman that is about to be a Mrs. However, her identity is not sure, because she thinks that her identity is somewhat connected to who she's going to be with. I need you to really
Mm.
address that bit. And I
Sorry,
also
I
need
didn't
you
get
to
that.
address, okay, I need you to address an average woman probably has not gotten to the space of marriage, or an average woman, be it a woman that is married, be it a woman that is not married, just an average woman. And I'm speaking from, or not just a woman, a man, because as a woman, as a man, you can go through identity crisis, you can go through, divorce. So address a human being now that is in a position where they are they are struggling with identity crisis. That's on one hand. And then on the second hand, why I said Mrs. is, a man, whether divorced or not, you're a Mister. But the woman, once she was once a Mrs., she's no longer a Mrs. And there is that
Yeah.
argument there. How are you able to
Yeah.
help her understand her new identity, even if she's going to remarry? But that position where she is no longer a married woman. I would love for you. I hope it's not clumsy. I hope you understand
No, no, no,
the
no.
categories of people you're addressing.
I think I understand. It's not clumsy. I'm going to pick it. I'm going to pick it one by one. Talking about identity for just human beings, right? That was why I started with who you are as a primary school child, who you are as a secondary school child, the time you got to the university, who actually are you? You see, we're in a society or environment where we live our life based on dictates. And so that's why we say our upbringing, our conditioning has done a lot of damage to us than good. And they say, oh, our culture, our culture. And this is why Generation Z, we have not seen anything yet. Because that generation, they are going to deal, they are going to deal with us. They are going to deal with us, because I have seen a master's degree holder in an organization that I work with as a consultant. So the HR called me that they had issue with this particular guy. So what happened? So this guy is a master's degree holder and he is in the managerial level. And I guess the secretary was busy that day and they just said, hey, guy, please quickly help us do this photocopy. And he said, are you for real? Do photocopy? You think I have a master's to be doing photocopy in an organization? Excuse me. Please don't try that with me again. That is a generation that knows who they are, isn't it? We will say, oh, let me just quickly help them. That's where we are sabotaging our identity, chip by chip, small by small. So this thing we call identity is deep. It starts with you saying no when you want to say yes. Every time you say no, when inside you know that what you want to say is a yes. You're losing it in bits. And that is how it starts. So this thing we call identity for a neutral, ordinary person, please, these children, this Generation Z, they know how to set their boundaries, even with their parents. But we see it as rude. We label it. We call it name. Yeah. And this is part of the things that are culture. Because people will say, oh, we are bringing Western world culture and all that. But the truth of the matter is, this is how we are losing ourselves. Now we are exposed to the world of internet. We see how things are done in another place. I remember one of my mentors would say that if a Nigerian goes to the embassy for interview, we are taught to do like this. But if you get to a white man and you do like this, he will think something is wrong with you. You're hiding something, isn't it? They want you to look straight in their eyes. And these are the issues. This is the problem. People who are relocating, they now have to learn the culture. If we pay attention, that is what our soul resonates with. Allowing the you that is inside you find expression. So when I say healing, it's not just anything. I take people through the therapy process such that you find yourself, you will be whole and wholesome again. You're not in any way going to be rude to anybody. but you will know how to use your words and you will know how to set your boundaries. And you're not rude. You will handle and manage your relationship with other people well, and you will be comfortable in your skin. For example, my generation, the wives or the husbands, you want to satisfy your husband, you want to help you at the detriment of your own happiness, isn't it? But there is a way, there's another way. The half is half full, the cup is half full, the cup is half empty. There are different ways. There are different ways to this thing. So there are ways. So if people come to me and I take them through the therapy, after the therapy session, I take them through the mindset makeover coaching session where I help them understand, get your power back and know how to operate. So when I say get your power back, you're not misbehaving.
Nailed it.
You do it in a wise way because there's a way to all these things. So now answering that question of identity crisis of a missus who loses the marriage, and I understand it. I totally understand it. I went through that identity crisis. I had to talk myself out of it. It was a lot. In fact, if you check my Facebook, it was when I was having that crisis, I was like, okay, this Fawale is not my maiden name. This is my ex's name. But I had to settle it in my head to say, okay, I'm not Fawale. I'm not Alao. It's a terrible place to be. Because, some of us, by the time we're running away from our family wahala. That was why we ran into.
Thank you, mommy. You're hitting the nail.
So now, the marriage you ran into, you have run out of it. The home you are trying to run away from, you don't want to go there. So you are in the middle.
In the limbo.
So I remember saying, okay, so what name? No, I don't want to be identified with this. I don't want to be identified with, that kind of a thing. So I had to talk myself through that. Okay, what is a name? But who are you?
A name is the name of animal person.
Can you create the identity for
a name
yourself?
Is a noun.
So that your daughter will see you and will be proud beyond the name. Beyond the name. If I am misbehaving or my life is not going straight, I'm sure my ex would have asked that I drop that name, isn't it? He would have asked that I drop that name. But because it's a household name in the coaching space, they don't mind to bear the name with me. So when I was going through that crisis, I remember going on Facebook. I changed my name to Blessing Ebulomo. I was like, okay, what's the meaning? Blessing Ebulomo. So I understand that identity crisis stage. But the truth is, you can't go through it. You can't go through this process alone. You need somebody to walk you through, to help you in navigating it. People that have gone through it and have done it in an healthy way. There's an healthy way to it. Seriously, there's an healthy way to it. Such that you'll be talking about your divorce. In fact, at times I've forgotten that I'm even divorced. I've forgotten. Because I just feel free. Because I'm creating my own identity beyond hiding under somebody's identity. Because I am human and I'm not a feminist. I respect men. I'm not a feminist. I don't spill toxic talk. No. But I live my life with all confidence, with all boldness, knowing that I'd walked through, I'd paid my dues to get here. Do you understand?
I love that. I love. Let's talk about that a little bit. The feminist thing that they started looking at it in terms of, okay, generally speaking, you being in your power as a woman because of the misdiagnosis or misrepresentation, you someone is not able to be in their full potential just because some set of people have created some level of toxicity around that era. And I'm saying this to help a particular woman that will cower down or would reduce who she is, or a person that will reduce who they are because of the stories around. Let me share a very quick one. I know a woman that is very, she's gifted. She's gifted, and she's out there in terms of um, what she has to offer. However, she's afraid of this
Mm.
feminist stuff. What she has to offer is women in their strength and who they are. But she's afraid. So she's in the place of that identity that just because of what you said now, I just remember that I had that conversation with her, and she was like, I don't want to throw it out there and then look like I'm a bitter feminist, you know. And then I said, so what are you doing? Define what you're doing. What are you projecting? That would help you. So I just need you to address that very quickly. I don't know if it's me, but I'm not seeing EJ. Can you see EJ?
Yeah, I think EJ dropped off.
Okay. All right. I think we can even wrap up with this because time is fast spent. I'm going to wait for her. I'm sure she would have one or two questions. How can you
Okay.
speak to someone, especially someone that wants to be in their power? They want to be in they want to be able to do something, and they don't want to paint a picture that would look like, okay, um they say if you do this, you're seen as a this. If you do this, you do that. I want you to address that. And I think we EJ, are you back? Can you hear us?
No, no, no. I'm here. I'm here. Yeah, yeah. I can hear.
Okay, you were out for a bit. So and that's because somebody might be in that space that when you were in that position, you were able to do things in a healthy way. Help people understand it, that when you go through divorce, you've gone through you've been able to identify the mindsets that, and then you've been able to understand your own identity, who you are, and what what you have gone through is not supposed to define you. How do you now wrap it up to a point where this person knows that this is a journey that they've gone through, this is what they have come up with? How can they identify, or how can they project what we will call healthy, that will make them know that, okay, I'm no longer a bitter ex. I'm no longer feeling that I'm now loving me for who I am. What are the things that they would see that would help them understand that they love who they are and not what they have gone through? Help us paint a picture. And I think, that would be my last
Okay,
question.
so to maintain a healthy way of life as a lady, it's very easy, because by the time you're doing it, you're not doing it from a place of pain or anger or competition, right? You're not trying to prove any point to anybody. Do you know what happened a lot of time is we want to explain it, we want to let people see it, we want to let people understand it. You don't need to let anybody understand it. As long
Mm.
as you know that inside you, you're comfortable with what you're doing, you know that you're not hurting anyone, right? You're not hurting anyone. And you know that you're convinced inside you that this that you're doing is giving you peace of mind. Because a lot of times, those people that do the negative thing, that's the non-healthy one, they are not comfortable. They just put bold face. Because if you're doing it and you're doing it in an unhealthy way, you're hurting yourself. So you don't want
Yes,
to hurt yourself. You don't want to make yourself
absolutely.
feel bad. You don't want to make yourself feel uncomfortable. Because all these feelings has its own effect on who you are. My mom of blessed memory will say that if you know you're deceiving people, just make sure you're not deceiving yourself. Just make sure that you are not deceiving yourself. And you know that if you are deceiving people and you know that you are deceiving yourself, it's not a comfortable place at all.
Yeah.
It's not a comfortable place to be at all. So you need to be sure of what you're doing. Going through healing and forgiveness process puts your mind in a particular place. And like I said, after the therapy thing, we take you through the coaching session where we give you tools. And these tools, part of it is affirmation, meditation, such that by the time you affirm yourself, you know when you say your default response will be peace. No dazzle, no razzle. You are not perturbed. You're just calm. People just see the aura around you and they respect it. I have had Pastor Ibukun Awoshika said this a lot of times. Even as a chairman of First Bank, she's going home, she drops the chairman title at the gate. You see, all this title are the ones that intoxicate us. Right? Mrs., because I'm wearing ring. Please, if we remove Mrs., doctor, pastor, reverend, if we remove it from the name, who
you
are you? And that should be our focus. If that is what you live your life by, life will be easier for you. And people around you will see it. They want to read meaning to it. They will be the one explaining you to other people. And so that's why I'm saying that I do a healthy one, such that people around will, no, she's a cool and calm person. No, that's not pride. You don't understand what pride. No, she's not proud. In fact, you need to get close to her to really understand how she thinks or how she talks. People outside will be fighting for you. They will be explaining on your behalf. You don't need to explain, because you'll be operating from that place of peace, a place of serenity. It's a powerful place to be. It's a very powerful place to be. So all this identity thing we are talking about, it will come easy for you because you'll be living from your inside house, regardless of what the environment had to offer you. Somebody says something and you're like, oh, it's okay. Well, she's done what she's doing. She's done what she's done based on the level of understanding she has. You're not arguing, you're not fighting. Yeah. My map is not the territory, That's the way she can see it. That's the way she's seeing it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like the lady. So one of the videos, because I saw a series on Instagram, one of the community lady, Sunshine Hub, that's the name of the divorce community. One of the ladies I brought said, because when I started working on her, she became so quiet. She got her power back, and things become so easy. When they say seek first the kingdom and every other thing will be added.
Yeah.
Seek healing, seek peace of mind, every other thing. Lines upon lines, things should just be falling in place for you. You'll be surprised that what did I do to deserve all this? So the lady was sharing her stories there on the page on Instagram, how that she was not really allowing the man to see the children, but after the healing session and everything, so they now co-parent and they're doing it peacefully, such that I think she left her marriage about 7 years ago. This guy is toasting her again to say, what have you done to yourself? Like, this is not the person that left the house, What have you done to yourself?
Didn't you like to hear? Oh, nice. Oh.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
I love that.
You work on yourself to a level that you don't have to explain. People will see it. That is what inner peace. gives, and this is what we give
Can
when this
do.
is what we help people achieve when they go through our therapy session. Grace, I hope I've been able to
Recover from
respond
the
to that question.
amazing,
Perfect.
amazing. Thank you so much.
Perfect.
I know that the time we had was not enough, but again, in the time that we had, we unpacked a lot. Like there's just a lot buzzing in my head. And I want to say shout out to all the people who joined us. And thank you, Leon, for also engaging. He said something again, but we can deal with Gracie, you and I can deal with that in the comment on LinkedIn, where he's talking about okay, about the logic thing coming back to say at the end of the day, he's wondering how did our old parents, not our own
In those
generation, or the
days,
former generation,
our
how
mothers in
did
those days
yes,
are
how
just
did they
totally
survive
sold out.
without having to date? They didn't date, they just arranged marriage and it worked. But
Our
that's a
mothers in
conversation
those
for another
days,
day.
our parents, our mothers in those days are just totally sold out. They are not fighting for any identity. They are just totally sold out. You tell them they are stupid, they say yes, ma. You tell them they are mad, they say yes, sir. You know. But you see the exposure
Yes,
of the
it's a
social media
difference. I get you.
helping us know that there's more to our lives. You can achieve
Mm,
as a girl child, you can achieve as a male, but you don't have to do part also. Just ensure that you're using your
mm,
strength, and that's where we talk about complementing the two in the relationship. You're supposed to complement, not compete. You're supposed to
mm,
complement.
mm,
Yeah.
mm. Wow.
Thank you very
Honestly, this
much.
has been a very, very deep conversation and very enriching. So thank you so much, Dr. Ebolomo, for
Thank you
coming
very
out
much.
and sharing your story. I know you just gave us a tip of the iceberg, but now we
Yeah.
are curious and we can then follow you across social media to see okay what the journey is like. Look at the community, just also share about the community because I love what you're doing with that community. And so thank you so much for just giving us light. And I think the one thing that you shared is just very rock solid that if you can fix that one thing, it spirals into every other part of your journey as a person. So once your identity
Yeah.
is fixed and
Yeah.
you embrace it from where you are, and like without toxicity, but very wholesome, it affects everything around you. And obviously it's
Absolutely.
going to affect your relationships as well. Exactly. So for those who are going through the process of divorce right now, it's okay. We are everybody have well, I cannot let me not say everybody, but we've seen people who've gone through it before. From the place of just looking at, if you look at it like constructively and objectively, you probably see this underlying factor that you truly didn't know who you were, and you didn't come to terms with who you were before you got into that relationship, and the other person, the other party too. And so probably there was a conflict and that's why it led here. But leading here does not mean your life has ended, does not mean that you cannot make anything meaningful out of your life again. So what this whole conversation is leading to is to say beyond the breakup, beyond the divorce, you are still you, and you are a person. You are an entity on your own. You are made for greatness. You can be great if you allow yourself to be great by allowing yourself to go through the healing process to come back to the who you are, to the essence of who you are, and living from that place of essence, and you can blossom again. All right. So if you do need help in that regard, of course, you can reach out to Dr. Ebo and just go through the process and heal completely. We all have our stories, and I'm super excited. I saw some of the things you shared, and I could deeply resonate with them, and it's making sense, and it's making me feel like, okay, EJ, you're doing well. No worry, well done, well done. You're not alone, and it's so good. So I hope you feel the same way, that you are not alone in that
Yeah.
journey. You've got hands around, so don't do it alone. Don't try to figure it out alone. That could be a bit weighty on you. Join a community, and the community by Dr. Ebu here is one that will come that comes recommended. All right, guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Leon, for being a part of the conversation. For those
How
of
can
you on
they reach
Instagram,
you?
thank you for being part of the
How can
conversation.
they reach
And
you,
with
Dr.
anyone out there
Ebo?
on YouTube, we appreciate you. Yes.
Okay, I think Grace is
Can you hear
asking.
me? Yeah. So I was going to come to that.
Okay.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, please go for it. Go for
Okay.
it.
Okay, so you can reach me on Instagram. Instagram at talk. That's TALK. Talk to Ebunlomo. EJ, can you type it for me? I'm not able to type from here. Talk
Yeah, no, that's
to
fine. That's fine.
Ebunlomo.
Would add it to the yeah.
TALK figure two, then Ebunlomo. That's on Instagram. Thank you. No, two, figure
Ah,
two.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. On
And you
Instagram.
can also drop my, yeah, thank you very much. You can drop my phone number. You can drop my phone number too. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much,
Okay.
EJ and Grace, for having me.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. We
Fantastic.
Thank
appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. God
Bye.
bless you. And then have a good one back in where you are at. God bless you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. All right. So guys, it's been a fantastic conversation, and that's a wrap on our Love Month series. We're not saying stop loving. We're not saying love has ended. Love continues. We're just saying in this month that everyone collectively we say, okay, let us celebrate love in February. We're just saying in that month, that series, this is the last episode we have in that series. And March, we're marching forward into March by next week. So we're going to be, focusing on another theme. And of course, you already know that March is a month dedicated to women. We are not biased, to be honest. We are not biased, but we are women in here. So that could make us look like as if we are natural. No, but we like to also celebrate, what the world is celebrating. So March is dedicated to women. There's women International Women's Day coming up on the 8th. There is the third Sunday is Mothering Sunday. Yeah, I think a couple of things like that around women. So in March, so we'll be also spotlighting some women in our communities that are doing amazing work. So you want to keep an eye for that. But again, I hope that this month series has been very, very enlightening and valuable for you as it has been for us. If you're yet to subscribe to this YouTube channel, please do subscribe. If you're following us across socials, please do that. Your Voice, Your Impact Show on Instagram, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. Connect to both of us. Grace Edibo on LinkedIn and Ejiro Osakede on LinkedIn. All right, Gracie, give us a final word. We've missed your final word. You used to have like, okay, action point for this week. You used to have that. What happened? Yeah, give us.
When our deeds will just carry us and we'll all somehow be like taking everything in. Yeah, please keep loving and just keep shining. That and then one thing you should do in this coming week. Okay, we're in a new week. This week, point out something that you did lovingly. Point out something that you did lovingly. An action of love.
Love it. I love it. Pay attention to that. Point it out. Like, ensure you recognize it. What did I do lovingly? For me personally, I feel like everything you should do should be from the place of love. It makes life easy. Anyways, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Till we come your way again next week. This is the Energetic EJ, and this is your voice, your impact. Goodbye, everyone. Bye bye.